Good evening, guys. Today we will be discussing about voltage control oscillators. As you know, an oscillator is simply an amplifier with a positive feedback. Coming to VCO, here the oscillations are controlled by a control voltage. Here we are calling that control voltage as modulating input voltage VC. A voltage control oscillator basically used to convert a low frequency signal into audio frequency signal. When we are going to discuss about IC based VCOs, the prominent VCO is IC566 VCO, which is a 8-pin device in which the first pin is your ground terminal, second pin is no connection, third pin is a square wave output, fourth pin is a triangular wave output. The fifth pin is your control voltage, or otherwise called as modulation input. At the 6th terminal you connect your external resistor RT. At the 7th terminal you connect the external capacitor CT, and then at the 8th terminal you have your bias voltage VCC. And this is how you are going to connect externally to the IC. If you check the block diagram, we'll be able to understand the working of this VCO. So a VCO basically has a constant current source or sink and a capacitor CT, external capacitor CT, which is going to be charged or discharged through resistor RT for a constant current. This current value will depend upon the voltage at terminal 6, which in turn will depending upon the magnitude of your modulating input voltage VC, which is given at terminal 5. So if VC value is a low value, then the voltage at 6 will also be a low value, and high current will flow through RT, because current is nothing but potential difference divided by resistance. If the potential difference is high, current will be high. If VC value is a large value, then the potential difference will be small and the charging current will be small. Basically we are obtaining the voltage across the capacitor. The capacitor will be either in a charging mode or a discharging mode. The output of the capacitor voltage is connected to a buffer circuit. So this buffer is nothing but simply a voltage follower circuit. The output of the buffer is connected to a Schmitt trigger circuit. It is connected to the inverting terminal of the Schmitt trigger. The Schmitt trigger circuit is so designed that the output voltage V0 will vary between 0.5 VCC to plus VCC. As you are aware that Schmitt trigger basically gives an output in the form of a square wave. This square wave value will vary between 0.5 VCC to plus VCC. And then if you see, you have a resistor which is acting like a positive feedback. So this resistor is output of the Schmitt trigger is connected to the non-inverting terminal of your Schmitt trigger circuit. So these resistors RA and RB will ensure the voltage at the non-inverting terminal. If RA is equal to RB, then this voltage at the non-inverting terminal will be equal to output of the Schmitt trigger voltage by 2. Okay, so in case if the output of Schmitt trigger voltage is at 0.5 VCC, this value will be 0.25 VCC. If the output of the Schmitt trigger value is plus VCC, the non-inverting terminal voltage will be 0.5 VCC. Okay, so if this value voltage is known, you know that this voltage will be the same. So another way means all I want to convey is that the capacitor voltage is now going to vary between 0.25 VCC to 0.5 VCC. So because we are having a constant current, either it's a charging current or discharging current, both are having the constant magnitude. The time for charging and time for discharging will be thus identical, Hence we are going to obtain a triangular waveform across the capacitor. Okay, this voltage you can obtain at the terminal number 4. So you are obtaining a triangular waveform at the terminal number 4. The voltage is varying between 0.25 VCC to 0.5 VCC, and then we are obtaining a square wave at the Schmitt trigger. This Schmitt trigger, because the input is connected to the inverting input terminal, so when the capacitor reaches a 0.5 VCC, the output of Schmitt trigger will be a low value, will reach the 0.5 VCC. When the capacitor voltage reaches a low value, that is 0.25 VCC, the Schmitt trigger output will reach to the high value, that is plus VCC. Now the output of the Schmitt trigger is connected to a inverter, so which in turn inverts the output of a Schmitt trigger. So if a Schmitt trigger has a high value, it will be converted into low voltage. If a Schmitt trigger has a high voltage, it will be converted to a low voltage and converse. So whenever Schmitt trigger is at point for low voltage, that is 0.5 VCC, it will be converted into plus VCC. Whenever Schmitt trigger is at plus VCC, it will be converted into 0.5 VCC. Okay, now this voltage we are obtaining at the terminal number 3. Okay, and then we may connect a additional 0.001 microfarad capacitor between pin number 5 and 6 in order to eliminate any kind of noise at the modulating input terminal. Now coming to the derivations, basically we are going to write a equation for the charging of the capacitor or the discharging of the capacitor. You know that for a capacitor I is equal to C dV by dt. So we are writing it as I is equal to Ct delta V by delta T, where delta V is the change in the voltage of the capacitor. So capacitor is charging between 0.25 VCC to 0.5 VCC. So difference delta V is equal to 0.5 minus 0.25, that is 0.25 VCC. Now if you replace that, you will get the charging current I is equal to Ct into 0.25 VCC by delta T. From this we will get the charging time delta T is equal to 0.25 VCC into Ct by I. Now time period will be equal to charging plus discharging time, which we are considering equal. So it will be T equal to twice delta T. So that is equal to 0.5 into VCC into Ct by I, where I is your charging or discharging current. So as we have already discussed, this current is equal to VCC minus modulating input voltage Vc by RT. So if we replace the value of I, we'll get the expression for time period capital T. So capital T equal to 0.5 into VCC into Ct into RT by VCC minus Vc. Now as you know time period, we can calculate our output frequency. Frequency equal to inverse of your time period. So f0 equal to 1 by t equal to 2 into VCC minus Vc by VCC into RT into Ct. So your output frequency or the oscillations frequency will depend upon your resistor value RT, capacitor value Ct, and your modulating input voltage Vc. This modulating input voltage usually varies between 0.75 VCC to plus VCC. So in case if you have kept your Vc value at 7 by 8 VCC, then output frequency f0 will be equal to 2 into VCC minus 7 by 8 VCC by Vc into RT into Ct, that is f0 will be equal to 0.25 by RT into Ct. By this we can eliminate the bias voltage VCC in the expression of your f0. Now we have another subtopic, voltage to frequency conversion. In this we are going to have a relationship between your control voltage or your modulating input voltage Vc and the output frequency. So for this we are defining a term called Kv, which is nothing but voltage to frequency conversion factor. Kv is equal to delta f0 by delta Vc. So it is the change in the output oscillation frequency for a change in the modulating input voltage. So delta f0 equal to f1 minus f0, where f1 is the frequency obtained when there is a change in modulating input voltage by delta Vc. f0 is your initial oscillation frequency. So if you're replacing those values of your Vc in the expression for F0, so F1 equal to twice Vcc minus Vc plus delta Vc by Vcc into RT into Ct. F0 equal to 2 into Vcc minus Vc by Vcc into RT/Ct. So F1 minus F0 will become delta F0 equal to twice delta Vc by Vcc into RT into Ct. Okay. Now, if you bring this delta Vc to the left hand side, it will become delta F0 by delta Vc, which is nothing but your Kv. This is nothing but 2 by Vcc into RT into Ct. But then you can rewrite this 2 as 8 into 0.25 by Vcc into RT/Ct. And we have already known that 0.25 by RT/Ct is equal to F0. So you can rewrite Kv as 8 times F0 by Vcc. So by this we are able to convert uh, frequency. We are going to get a relationship between voltage to frequency. This Kv is equal to 8 times F0 by Vcc. Thank you.